Namaste everyone. On this eve of 158th birth anniversary of Swami Vivekanand, I welcome you all. Today the students of 12th are going to celebrate the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekanand with panel discussion. The topic of the panel discussion is problem faced by youth and innovative solution for it. The moderators for the panel discussions are Tirsha Junjunwala and Khushi Khudania from 12th class, and the panelists are Tanushri Halan, Charu Surana, Vriddika Sood, Anvesha Agrawal, Jia Khurana, Rishta Kothari, and Shelja Lohia. Now I hand over to Tirsha Junjunwala and Khushi Khudania to proceed further. Yeah.
A very good evening to one and all present over here, respected principals, teachers, and all my dear friends. Today, we, the students of Birla Balika Vidyapeeth, are here for a panel discussion on a very popular topic, problem faced by youth and innovative solutions for it, on the occasion of 158th birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. We are what our thoughts have made us. So take care about what you think. Words are secondary. Thoughts live, they travel far. These are the words by Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda was son of Vishwanath Dutt and Bhuvneshwari Devi. His real name was Narendranath Datta and he has high thinking skills and grasping power. Swamiji has given vast spiritual knowledge of yoga and Vedanta to the youth of the world. Swamiji believes the women's development and empowerment are significant for the world. He spent his entire life in the development and growth of humanity for serving God. He also founded an organization named Ramakrishna Mission in 1897 for educating women and youth.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. Good evening, children. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Very good, nice. Just now I came from the school, but I'm very happy to know all the participants are, I think they will do good and wish you all the best. And very relevant topic you have selected, that problems faced by youth and innovative solutions for it. My God, great it is. Okay. Please carry on. I'll be listening. I'll be listening to it. Okay. All the best to all the participants. Thank you so much, sir. Pushpinder, sir.
Thank you
a lot,
so much,
sir.
ma'am.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Tirsha, start with Shloka.
Please continue. I'll be listening
Continue.
definitely.
Yes.
Because today I spoke almost 7 hours since morning till now. So I'll be listening definitely.
Very hectic day for you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. All the best.
Thank you.
या कुन्देन्दु तुषार हार धवला या शुभ्र वस्त्रावृता या वीणा वरदण्ड मण्डितकरा या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्मासना शङ्करा प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मा पातु सरस्वती भगवती निशेष जाड्यापहा निशेष जाड्यापहा विशेष जाड्यापहा.
So we are going to start with our first panelist, Tanushri Halan, and her main topic is mental health.
Good morning to one and all present here. I, Tanushri Halan, like to throw light on mental health. So today's teen and young adults are making their way in a world much different than the one their parents experienced. Navigating constant development in technology and social media with coping with an uncertain future takes a toll on young people. We are reaching record levels of mental health issues in our youngest generation. The latest trends in young adults' mental health paint a somewhat discouraging picture of clinicians hoping to help. The research indicates a 37% increase in a reporting from 2005 to 2011. We, the young youth, have raised suicides in boys from 10.8 to 14.2 per 1 lakh, and rates of suicide in girls from 2.4 to 5.1 per lakh. Explaining this epidemic and the decline in mental health, busy schedules and academic pressures are one of the reasons for depression and anxiety in today's youth. Schools and extracurricular activities are huge source of stress that can lead to student mental health. On a 10-point scale, 3.9 is the maximum level of stress considered to be healthy. The average of 14 responses rated school year stress at 5.8. Kids are feeling more and more pressure to perform academically, and the competition for the highest GPA or best portfolio for extracurricular activities can wear them down quickly. Social media comparisons. There have been considerably planning about the effects of social media on developing young adult brains. And research is showing that there is a significant link between heavy social media use and teen mental health. Instagram is ranked as the worst social media platform for mental health, according to survey by Royal Society for Public Health. Another factor is engaging in risky behaviors. They include alcohol and other drug use, tobacco use, inadequate physical activity, unhealthy dietary behaviors. Now, the problem is, how can we solve it? A holistic approach to combat the youth mental health crisis. Exercise. The physical health benefits of exercise have been evident for millennia, and now studies are showing the impressive advantages it has for mental health and health. We can do meditation, and fewer than 1 in 10 teens get enough exercise, and which contributes to the rising rate of depression and anxiety. Second is nutrition. It's not always easy for teens to get the balanced diet they need to maintain their health, mental health. About 95% of serotonin is produced in digestive system. So what teens eat really matters. Diets high in vegetables, unprocessed grains, fish, seafood can lower a person's risk of depression by 25 to 25%. Now, next is mindfulness. Getting teens to practice mindfulness can help them cope with the symptoms of mental illness. Mindfulness practices cultivate self-awareness and calmer, more controlled way to process emotions. The great thing about mindfulness is that it comes in all shapes and sizes, from yoga to running to meditation. So I hope that mental health is clear my point, and the youth today will focus on mental health more. Thank you.
Tanushri, we have a question for you. What are your views on stress management among youths?
Yes, stress management. So first of all, what do we mean by stress management? Stress management, how we manage the stress, helps you break the whole stress has on your life so you can be happier, healthier, and more productive. The ultimate goal is a balanced life with time for work, relationships, relaxation, and fun, and to hold up under pressure and meet challenges also. So, how can we manage our stress? This is the main problem one should learn about. So, first is make time for fun, like adults, kids, and teens, time to do what brings them joy. Whether that's unstructured time to play with building bricks or uninterrupted hours hours to practice music or art. Do whatever you feel fun. Then go outside. Spending time in nature is an effective way to relieve stress and improve overall well-being. Also, what the stress you are facing about, talk with your parent, talk with the person you feel that he or she can help you to solve. Talking with someone or writing your problems can fix a child problems. So these all can do to manage your stress. These all the ways you can do it. And especially don't hide it from anyone. Especially talk to your parents about it. What stress you feel. What are the reasons by which you are feeling. So it can help. Thank
Thank you, Tanushri. Our next panelist is Charu Surana, and the topic for discussion is societal, parental, and peer pressure. Charu, you may begin.
Thank you so much. First of all, namaste everyone. I would like to express my gratitude to our beloved principal ma'am and to our economics teacher for giving me this opportunity to be part of this panel discussion as a panelist. My topic for this discussion is societal, parental, and peer pressure. In this messed up society where we are told to have an individual viewpoint, but whenever we try to express ourselves, we are always we are told to keep quiet all the time. Why such double standards? I just don't understand that why society keeps a lot of pressure about our unasked opinions. And because of this messy societal pressure, the new generation almost finds it's unbearable to even breathe in peace. And if I talk about parental pressure, in almost all the families, you will find the elder of the family is very highly overprotective about their kids' life, their career, their decisions, and everything. I just don't understand why they don't listen to their kids. They should allow to make their own decisions. Then because if they won't allow them to make their decisions, when the child will become adult, when one day he or she will have zero risk taking ability in the future. And many of the times I have seen many parents controlling their kids' life, saying log kya kahenge mentality, and because of which one day the child will turn up against their parents because they curtail their little freedom out of their overprotective nature. So to all the parents, I must say, let your children make mistakes, let them learn from it, because that's how actually people learn and grow. And I have also seen one very important problem, which is very familiar actually. Parents, they always try to compare their child with one another, with their co-workers, with their family friends, or so on. Let me just tell you one thing, that comparing your child is like, it can be very dangerous. It is really actually not just unreasonable, but it is actually very dangerous for that kids for overall growth and development. Parents should understand that each and every kid is unique from one another. Each kid is distinct from another. Each child has a unique set of talents, abilities, and capabilities that should not be compared of. And also I have seen many parents overvaluing other parents' opinion about their child rather than the child's opinion about his or her life. That should not be the case. Just because one experienced adult has something very valuable to say, that doesn't mean it has to be followed as per it. Like, there is nothing right or wrong when it comes to a person deciding to do something in his or her life. Some things work for one and not for another. It's just because everything had a destiny. So try to isolate yourselves from all these unnecessary pressures and try to live a very jolly, bubbly, and cheerful life. And after a lot of research, I have found out very innovative solutions. For the parents, I must say the problem will end then and there. The day you start comparing your child with another, let them make decisions, let them learn, let them grow, and stop pressurizing the kid. Try to build trustful relationship with your child. Teach them to say no. That is very, very important. And be very, do not pressurize the child. And for the children, I must say that the problem will be solved if you will learn to communicate assertively. Assertively means in a very direct, in a very respectful manner. Many of the children I have seen, they have a lack of confidence. They are not able to express themselves. So always, if you're going through any of the pressures, ask for the right help. Do not feel hesitated. And yoga and meditation can also play a very important role in coming out of these pressures. Try to isolate yourselves, get yourself surrounded by happy people, and yeah, have a buddy with whom you can share everything, and yeah, lead a healthy and peaceful life. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charu. We have a question for you. Charu, can you suggest a few ways in which we can handle these pressures without its consequences?
Yeah, Kushi, for sure, I can explain. Like whatever I have said till now, all these have no negative consequences. Like many, like these all pressures come when only parents start comparing the child, when the child is unable to understand. Like let the parent should give this, this power to the children to take decisions, because when they will become adult, they will turn up against their parents because really they curtail their freedom. So yeah, parents should understand. They should make a trustful bond with their children. They should understand their problems, and at the same time, children should also have a respect for it. They should learn to communicate assertively. They should ask for right help, and if they are going through any of these pressures. Thank you so much.
Our next panelist is Jia Khurana, and she is going to talk on the topic addiction.
Thank you everyone, and thank you my respected teacher for giving me the opportunity to participate into this discussion. So I am going to speak upon addiction. Addiction is a socio-psychological disorder characterized by repeated use of drugs or repetitive engagement in a behavior such as gambling, despite harm to self and others. According to the brain disease model of addiction, while a number of psychological factors contribute to the development and maintenance of addiction, a biological process that is induced by repeated exposure to an addictive stimulus is the core pathology that drives the development and maintenance of an addiction. Many scholars who study addiction argue that brain disease model is incomplete and misleading. Addiction is when the body or mind badly wants or needs something in order to work right. When you have addiction to something, it is called being addicted or being an addict. People can be addicted to drugs, cigarettes, alcohol, caffeine, and many other things. When somebody is addicted to something, they can become sick if they do not get the thing they are addicted to. But taking more of the thing they are addicted to can also hurt them and cause them bad health. Some people who are addicts need to go to a doctor or hospital to cure addiction so that they no longer crave the drug. Addiction takes place when the addictive element enters the body. The blood streams moves the element around the body so that it gets to the brain and makes the person feel that they are enjoying it. Then they want more of that substance. This takes place remarkably fast for some addictions such as hashish or cocaine, but all of them control the consumer. Under this control, the consumer does not have any completely free will and listens to the addiction blindly. People can also be addicted to other things which are not drugs. You may hear people talk about being addicted to the internet or addicted to chocolate or gambling. This means that they get into a habit of enjoying that thing. So if they do not have to go without it for a while, they miss it a lot. Addiction is similar to a major disease like chronic heart disease or perhaps diabetes, but addiction are not taken as seriously as these major things. Most people believe addiction to be a lifestyle choice, which in fact is, but is also a part of a person's genetics. While some people can do things and control themselves, others cannot due to their genetic makeup. There are ways to helping an addict, but this takes the admission of a problem and then proper testing to reveal what kind of treatment is needed. The American Society of Addiction Medicine defines the addiction as a treatable chronic medical disease involving complex interaction among brain circuits, genetics, the environment, and an individual's life experience. People with addiction use substances or engage in behaviors that become compulsive and often continue despite harm consequences. Prevention efforts and treatment approaches for addiction are generally unsuccessful are those for other chronic diseases. Thank you.
Gia, we have a question for you. The question is, some people think addiction is a disease and other people thinks that it's a choice. What do you think? And also point out the helps we can suggest to them or provide to them who is, for example, some people is addicted, how we can help them to get cured of it.
Okay, most people who have been to a treatment center are familiar with the disease model of addiction. Many interventions are based on the evidence that it is a disease. Belief that addiction is a disease is based on finding that it begins early and advances gradually. Okay, a person is vulnerable to become addicted if they begin using during teen years while the brain is still being developed. Once they have become addicted, they believe is that their to brain chemistry has been altered as well as the brain itself, making it extremely difficult to stop using even in the face of serious consequence. If you think back to when you were sober, you'd find that you did not consciously make a choice to struggle with addiction. This is not what the model does. This is not what the choice theory is about. No one sets a goal to be an addict. The choice model does not look at the addiction from a biological point of view, but from your thought process. Thank you.
Thank you, Gia. Our next panelist is Anvesha, and the topic for discussion is unemployment. Anvesha, you may begin.
First of all, namaskar. Youth unemployment is the situation of young people who are looking for a job but cannot find a job, with the age range being defined by the United Nations as 15 to 24 years old. An unemployed person is defined as someone who does not have a job but is actively seeking work. There are multiple causes and complex causes behind the youth, and among them, the quality and relevance of education, inflexible labor, market and regulations, which in turn create a situation of assistance and dependency, are the main causes discussed today. There are some solutions also to this problem, the first of them being the role of labor market policy and institutions. The role of labor market policy and institutions varies a lot from countries to countries. First, a more balanced employment protection for permanent and temporary workers is needed. It will ensure that young people who lack work experience can prove their abilities and skills to then progressively transition to regular employment. It will also encourage a more equal treatment between permanent and temporary workers and also help combat informal unemployment. Second, entrepreneurship. When taking into consideration the need to foster competitiveness through innovation and creativity, recent studies have advocated for entrepreneurship as viable a solution to youth unemployment. With the right structure and facilitated administrative processes, young people could create enterprises as means to find and create new jobs. According to the OECD, small and medium enterprises are today's main employers with 33% of jobs created over the last 10 years. The last solution, the assistance to youth in the transition to the world of work. A number of studies have shown that young people are not sufficiently advised on work-related opportunities, necessary skills, and career pathways. Before they leave education, it appears critical that they have access to this information to be better prepared for what to expect and what is expected of them. Good career guidance is along with the labor market prospects should help young people make better career choices. Thank you.
Anvesha, we have a question for you. What are your views about the fact that the unemployed youth is less ideal in comparison to the educated youth?
It is true that the educated youth is more unemployed than the uneducated one because, according to the recent report, India's unemployment numbers are at a record high. The Center for Monitoring Indian Economy estimated that 11 million jobs were lost in 2018, pushing the unemployment rate to 7.38%. A leaked NSSA report pegged the unemployment rate at 6.1%, the highest in over 4 decades. Unemployment rate among educated youth in India is higher than their uneducated counterparts, and the situation only worsens with increase in education level. One key reason is that educated people are less likely to accept informal work Even where there is limited supply of regular salaried jobs, also educated people in relatively developed states are more likely to remain out of work, as they often have to compete among a larger pool of educated youth for limited jobs. The study also finds that the unemployment rate among youth from large households tends to be higher, possibly because they can afford to not work while they search for a better job. Thank you.
Thank you, Anvesha. And our next panelist is Vridika Sood, and her topic is cybercrime.
Namaskar, Principal Ma'am, teachers, and all my dear friends. My name is Pradika, and my today's topic of discussion is cyberbullying. So, internet was invented in 1960. It was mainly invented for the military use, but as technology multiple uses and misuses, cyberbullying is one of internet's misuse. It is basically a teenage issue. Cyberbullying is a form of bullying or harassment using electronic means. Cyberbullying is when someone, typically a teenager, harasses other on internet or in any other digital space. Cyberbullying can include posting rumor threats, posting sexual remarks, posting a victim's personal information, or even hate speeches. Cyberbullying gives out the worst effects as victim experience negative emotional responses. They can be sad, they can be scared, they can be frustrated, they can feel lonely, and they may experience low self-esteem and increase in suicidal thoughts. Internet trolling is one of the most common form of cyberbullying, and its main reason can be literal amusement. And cyberbullying mainly takes place in social media, and this is one of the common issues nowadays. The number of cyberbullying cases are increasing every day, and hence its awareness has also risen due to high-profile cases. Different regions deal with cyberbullying cases differently. Some countries have passed laws in order to combat cyberbullying, and now even social media has introduced a community guideline so that if a teenager or even an adult feels uncomfortable about a message and thinks that he or she should report against it, they can clearly report against that particular message or a post in the community guideline. Bullying has become a very important issue and we must deal with it. Hence, there are also solutions which can actually help us in preventing cyberbullying. The first and the most important solution is that we have to be self-aware. We have to be self-aware about cyberbullying. We should know that if we are bullied or not. We should also know up-to-date information about cyberbullying, and we should also know what can be its effect if we are bullied. A child should join social media only at the age of 14 and above, because at this age, a child is perfectly able to make differences between right and wrong. Parents and teachers can actually play a very vital role in this. They can teach children about cyberbullying from a very small age, so that if at teenage or adulthood they face such problem, they would be well known. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vridika. We have a question for you. As we all know that usage of internet in this era of technology is inevitable. So suggest a few ways in which we can facilitate use of internet without its downsides.
Yeah, I would like to answer a question. So see, we all know that there are positive and negative effects of everything. And if we don't want the negative effects of social media, actually if like we feel like we are being cyberbullied, a person should never reply to a cyberbully. They should first of all tell any adult, or if they are adult, they should simply go and report about it. We should never show interest in a cyberbully. Thank you. Yeah, this is definitely.
Thank you, Vridika. Our next panelist is Rishta Kothari, and the topic for discussion is obesity.
So, good evening and namaste to everyone. So, my topic for today's discussion is obesity. Obesity, it is generally caused by eating too much and moving too less. If you consume high amounts of energy, particularly like fats, sugars, but do not burn off that energy through physical exercises and activities, then most of the surplus energy will be stored by the body as fat, and this is very much harmful for the body. Causes and symptoms: eating more calories than you burn. Extra calories add up and cause weight gain. First cause, genetics, which can affect how your body processes food into energy and how fat is stored. Second, growing older, which can lead to less muscle mass and a slower metabolic rate. Third, not sleeping enough, which can lead to hormonal changes that make you feel more hungrier. Fourth, pregnancy, as weight gained during pregnancy must be difficult to lose. Solutions to these problems of obesity: we should consume less bad fat and more good fat. We should consume less processed and sugary foods. We should eat more servings of vegetables and fruits, and we should drink plenty of water. Focus on eating low index food. We should be physically more active. We should consume more liquids such as juices, waters to avoid toxicity. Obes- Thank you.
Thank you, Rishta. And we have a question for you. Do you agree that obesity is the root cause to most of the deadliest disease? If yes, then please explain your point.
Yes, obesity causes or contributes to the majority of leading causes of death worldwide that are not linked to infectious disease. The impacts of obesity manifest differently in men and women. Obesity causes a high risk of type 2 diabetes in women and chronic kidney disease in men. The, the obesity epidemic affects nearly 500 million people worldwide. Obesity related issues include heart disease, cancer, which are a leading cause of preventable diseases. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Rishta. And our next participant is Salja Roya, and her topic is career choice.
Namaste everyone. Thank you, Trisha. So career choice. Work is worship. What we do as a profession affects every other aspect of our life. Our lifestyle, status, and more importantly, our everyday living depends on what we choose to do. So career choice is an essential step for every youth. If you're not careful in deciding what you wish to do in your life, or if you're not sure of your dreams and aspirations, you may end up regretting a decision at a later stage in your life. So it is very important that we carefully analyze all the aspects affecting our career choice and then take a decision wisely. Career choice should not be associated with money you make out of it. What most people do is they run after money. They think that if they choose a career through which they can earn more money, they will end up happy. But this is not the case in most of the places. What happens is um, sometimes you choose a career where you make a lot of money, but the career might be very much stressful. You may be restless and you won't get any time for your family. So you should make the decision very carefully. Career short, they think that if they choose a career with more money, from getting a big financial return, it will lead to a happier life, but this does not happen. You need to know your priorities, passions, and goals. Basically, you must know yourself. If you're going to opt for a field in science, you must actually be interested in science, and same with other fields. You must not make a hasty decision, and you should carefully think about your passion and what you really enjoy learning. So it is very much necessary that we carefully take a decision. We also have to consider other aspects such as job opportunities and the time you are taking to pursue a career, and what is the what how is your family favors you and everything. You must not make a hasty decision. Take your time in researching and finding out about your passion, but keep in mind that all aspects should be taken in consideration. If you're very much confused about your career choice, you must take intelligence test, aptitude test, and you must do career counseling Then you should set your priorities straight. It will help a lot. Your goal should be big but not imaginary. Start with a small step. Once you have seriously chosen the field of your interest, you must focus on improving your skills. However, utmost priority should be given to choosing what you really enjoy learning. Because you have to be aware of the fact that once you have selected a career, you might end up working in it for the rest of your life. So rather than feeling stuck at a later stage, you should choose wisely now. However, students face a number of problems while choosing a career. Sometimes the hurdles they face discourage them so much that they abandon their choice altogether. It is very necessary that I make my own career choice rather than a parent or someone else making it for me, because I know myself better than anyone else. I know what is my capacity, what is my priority, what is my interest. So no one else can take my decision for me. The career choice I make has a large influence in my life. Also, I should know that I will be the one to spend 8 hours a day, 5 days a week doing the work, not anyone else. I know myself more than anyone else. I know my talents. So you must explore yourself, introspect, research what you like to do, try new things out. If you get interest in that, move further in that field. A career that a parent think is suitable for me may not be my personality or strength. Gone are the days when there are only just a few career options available. In the modern times, the ever-increasing convenience and ease has facilitated career options available also. Well, zeroing in your career choice of your career is always beneficial. It not only prepares you mentally for coping up with the stress involved in pursuing the opted career, it also gives one the impetus to start doing the training of the basics of the career they have opted. Students who have a clear and decisive goal in setting about their careers tend to be more successful than anyone else. In modern times, younger generation's inclination towards offbeat career is more than the conventional careers. More students want newer career options such as online work, hotel management, accent coaches, actors, models, fashion designers, interior designers, etc., etc., etc. The trend to jump the bandwagon of becoming an engineer or a doctor or a teacher or a lawyer is dwindling away. So all you need is excellence in one area. There is no dearth of career opportunities. We must set clear objectives from the very start of our career and then dedicate our energies to become the best in the chosen field. The most important thing to be kept in mind while opting for a career is we must choose a career according to our aptitude, potential, interest, and taste. We must not make a career choice in confusion. Wrong career choice can result in lot of stress, not only for us, but for our family members also. So all I'm saying is decide carefully. Thank you.
Thank you, Shalja. We have a question for you. That how can we assure the youth about a bright career opportunity in their passion?
Like I said, if you're passionate about something, all you need is excellence. Once you have the excellence, less job opportunities becomes just an excuse, because if you're improving your skills constantly, then you must be assured and you must be confident about your passion that you are going to have a job, you're going to do something. You should be able to dream about not only getting a job, you can start your you can even come up with startups. If you are really passionate about something, then less job opportunities just becomes an excuse. And what happens is, if your family is not favoring you very much, then you should be able to convince them. You should take help of your teachers and all that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shalja. I would like to invite Principal Ma'am to address the students.
Hi. Next, have taken children.
Yes, ma'am.
I was listening from the beginning. They're all are good. Okay, congratulations to everyone. And here I want to share something. See, with this webinar or seminar, don't stop the things. Some topics are such. You talked about of course, I have noted all the topics here. Career choice and youth unemployment. For these things, lot of preparation from the basic. That is from a formative stages on. Formative stages in sense, I'm not talking about class 1 or class 2. when you come to class 10th onwards, this lot of information can be given to the children and they can make up their mind what to be taken up, so that the choices of the subjects will be very proper and all those things will. So why not we start? It's of course when the child comes to class 12th and all, we don't want to pressurize, but the lower class children, they can take up this kind of clubs and lot of information can be disseminated. Okay, I'll once again I'll talk to Pushpender sir about all these things. And in Charu Surana's case, she was talking about the societal stress and all those things. See, according to NEP, New Education Policy 2020, the only policy, the first policy in 2020 which has just come. Of course, it is not, may not be applicable to you, but there are one of in report cards what we are doing these days. The teacher will give the marks, isn't it? But here the totally the report card is changing. That is teachers assessment and parent assessment, peer assessment, and self-assessment. So all the four contents they have come here. So when the child, if I'm assessing myself, if the child is assessing herself, you know that fear all will go. The confidence level will be increased. So for her, all her whatever she explained, there is a reply for that. So the complete education system is changing so that it will be very easy for you. And again, mental health, or you take up about the addiction. Okay, these things really we have to be very careful. See, now students are empowered a lot. It's not that teacher only should find out, teacher only cyber crimes she has to take up, not like that. And teacher, even students also in their level, some small groups they can have. And they not that if you have to very seriously you have to do that, not like that. At least if you can spare 15 minutes in a day or 20 minutes in a week also, that is sufficient. If such kind of people, if you're finding, because finding me it will be too late, finding your teacher is too late, finding your matron is very late, but you will come to know within no time. Within no time you will come to know. I had one serious case in our school, to tell the fact. It's not happened in our school, but in a previous school some problem she faced, not many problems, but without disclosing anything they have come and joined here. But one of the girl, she got to know what her problem is. She was planning to run away because she was totally addicted with the drugs in the previous school, and she joined in one of the classes. It's very few days only. Her friend, she could find out, and she came and honestly she told me, ma'am, I want to express something to you, just you save that girl. And really, believe or not, we could save the girl. Then very few days only, the interaction with the girl and we people. But really, because of the girl who observed and who shared with us, we could share her life rather. So such kind of things all will be taking out. So on the whole, what I want to say is, you have taken wonderful subjects, even mental health also, so many things. But somewhere you can have some small clubs like this. In each and everything we can have into make a club, isn't it? So in that club, some members you can have. That members, they can help for the school, or even you can sometimes like this, whatever you are taking. Of course, this is pandemic, all online going on. Even though the school starts also, one of the evenings, a small group you can have, and you can have the started explaining the things or something, sharing the things. So all these things, first it will, in the beginning it will look like a fun, as if what we are doing like. But in longer stages and longer way, if you think of, really you will become so much authority on that particular subject. You will come to know lot of literature, you will come to know the statistics, you will come to know many things. So that my simple request to all the children is, if we can have some kind of clubs in the school based on these topics, then it will be really fruitful, what I say. So you very well explained. It's of course the timings have changed and so many things have taken place. Otherwise also you have come forward and explained very well. Thank you so much and congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
A warm and graceful evening to Honorable Principal Ma'am, worthy teachers, my dear friends, and everyone gathered here. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked really hard to make this panel discussion a great success. I, Khushi Khudania, on behalf of Birla Balika Vidyapeeth and the entire fraternity of the institution, extend a hearty vote of thanks to Principal Ma'am, who spared time from her busiest schedule and enlightened us with her words. My gratitude to all our panelists for gracing the occasion and sharing their opinions on the respective topics. I'm immensely thankful to Pushpendra sir, who gave us such a nice opportunity to express our views. And in the last, a special attention to Principal Ma'am, who was our ultimate source of motivation and who stood as a pillar of strength for all of us. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all of those who indirectly or directly made this event.
One more word from my side. Along with all the panelists, I want to congratulate Trisha and Khushi also, because I cannot forget them. They're very well organized, very short and sweet, and the meaning is conveyed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you,
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Pushpendra sir. Otherwise, I would have missed it. Okay, he told you have to attend.
Thank you
That's
so
what
much,
he
ma'am.
asked.
Thank you so much,
Thank
ma'am.
you, thank you so
Instead
much.
of such a busy schedule, ma'am, you have joined.
No problem, sir. For
Yes, ma'am.
children, I can do anything. Okay. Nice.
Extremely
Okay,
thankful,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much. Thank you.
Tirsha for national anthem.
Yes, I would request everyone to please stand up on their own places for national anthem. जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल गगति तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे